Hello enemies book lovers, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be obviously my January TBR. I'm excited to start the new year. Hopefully good things happen this year and good books are read this year. I am hopeful. I have a few books lined up on this list I'm very excited to get to. Before we get to that, I'm still sick. I'm on the better half of it, but I am starting to cough a lot. So apologies if I still sound a little bit congested, and I'll be taking breaks because I'm very easily winded right now because everything I do is just exhausting, but I am getting better, so that's good. So for this video, I'm going to be doing my TBR board game again. I made this last year. I did it in November only, and this is the second time I'm going to be using it. I am so excited. I'm loving using this so far. When I land on a space, I'll explain it all to you. They're pretty self-explanatory, but even if they're not, I'll explain it as I go. I'm going to be doing 5 rolls, but before we do that, I'm going to talk about 2 books before we start. One of them being my wrapped books. So I unwrapped a book at the very end of November. Unfortunately, I just was so behind on my December TBR, I didn't have enough time to read that book. I read at least half of it, so I was reading it, but I didn't finish it yet. So I'm going to be finishing my unwrapped book and putting the video up in January, hopefully. And then also my hold on the library didn't come in. So for like the 3rd month in a row, I'm going to be talking about Malice by John Gwynne. Oh, it's on this side, sorry. Here it is. Malice by John Gwynne. I was supposed to get to this months ago and I never got around to it. This is for the Catch Up Book Club and I'm really sad I won't be able to get to the live stream because of the fact that my library just didn't get it in time. I mean, there was 2 holds on it and it's been over 2 months. They shouldn't have it that long, so I don't really know what happened. Maybe someone just didn't bring it back on time, but I just decided screw it, and I got the ebook on the Kindle that was only $3. So I said, you know what, that's worth my money. It was on sale, I got it for $3. I'm just not gonna wait another month to get it. So I will actually hopefully be reading this in January, and then I can get to the 2nd book in February and hopefully make it to the live stream. I really wanted to get to the live stream. I'm really disappointed that I can't, but regardless, I'm hoping I will enjoy this. I know it's like an epic high fantasy and I'm just really hoping I'll get into it. I'm wanting to get into more high fantasy in the new year in 2025. I'm not sure if I will. I've always been wanting to get into it. I feel like I kind of burned out of it like 2 years ago and I've had a really hard time getting back into it, but I'm really wanting to get back into it. If you're new to my channel, I read everything. Romance and fantasy, a mixture of the two, are my most common. So if you don't like romance, but you love fantasy or vice versa, you're gonna have a weird time on my channel. My channel is a mixture of so many different genres. I love that personally. Some people might not like that to watch because, you know, some people like only one genre. I like everything, almost everything. So apologies if you're new here, but if you like the chaotic genre taste tests, then welcome to my channel. That's pretty much all I am. I am chaotic and I'll never change, okay? Never. I will never change my channel to fit a certain genre. I'm never gonna do that. I just love all genres. But anyway, moving on from that book. So with those 2 in mind, I already have 2 books on my TBR for January. Malice is almost 700 pages and the other book I unwrapped I think was around 500 pages. So we have a lot of chunky books on this list and we haven't even gotten started yet. Let's get into the board game and see my first roll. Let's do the first roll. Starting off strong with a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Romance. Easy. The first one was very easy. I got a romance. Now, romance, like I said, is one of my favorite genres. Probably my most read genre. I don't know, 2024, I just read mostly romance. It's the easiest to consume for me. And when I'm not doing good mentally, romance is the way to go. So I am very happy to get romance because that means I can kind of take it easy with all these other huge books in between. Now, with that being said, with all these huge books, why not add another big book? Now, to be fair, I already started this book. I actually read this a little bit in December, I think, or like November. So yeah, I brought a book from last year to this year, but don't worry about it. It's one book, it's standalone. So I think it's okay for me personally to do that. But anyway, regardless, let me just talk about the book itself. If you're not a romance reader, bear with me. This is going to be an interesting one. This is a taboo romance, but I've been enjoying it so far. I've already been halfway through it, and that is For the Fans. This is by Nyla K, and this is a stepbrothers romance. Now, I know. Listen, I'm kind of enjoying the taboo romance. I'm not a huge dark romance person, but taboo romance, as long as there's a certain parameter around it. If someone didn't grow up with someone else, so they're stepbrothers, but they didn't become stepbrothers until they were in their like teenage years. So I think like 16, 17 years old. And then they had a few years together. Now they're in college or university. They can't pay their way through to continue their classes. So what ends up happening is one of them has a female friend, and I love her, by the way. She is amazing. She's like my favorite character, and she is doing an OnlyFans. And so he decides, hey, why don't I do this myself and get some money? And it starts to work. But there's like a moment where something happens and then people are asking, hey, can you do something with him? And so they decide, you know what, this is good money, so maybe we should try it. And the thing is, they have like this, not really rivalry, it's kind of like this hatred between each other, mostly from the other brother. Like we have the main guy, and then I don't really know how to explain it. I forgot their names. One of them is a little bit more forthcoming. The other one is very against everything this other guy is doing. And so it's a very interesting relationship. I love the guy. I don't know his name. What's his name? Oh shoot, I forgot his name. I love him. He's like my type. I love him so much. The nicer one, like the one that's like really sweet. He is so cute. I love him so much, but he's also incredibly hot. Like, ah. Anyway, this is a male stepbrother romance. And I already gotten, like I said, halfway through it. I'm only, how many pages do I have left? I only have 327 pages left. So I'm actually pretty happy with that because I don't want to be reading like a 600 plus page book. So there's 300 something pages left, so that's pretty good. I can do that. It's very easy to do. So let's move on to my second roll for this TBR game and see what I get. Second roll. Another bigger number, 5. So either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next book in a series, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. TBR jar. Right. I don't know if I could read any series this month that I continued. I think we're gonna go with the next book in a series. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so as you saw, I got next book in a series. Now this one is a little bit different than continuing a series. Next book in a series is essentially where I have to read the next book from the following month. So for example, if there's a series I read last month, I have to continue that book into this month. So the reason why this is like a prompt itself is because I never read series back to back anymore. I used to do it when I was younger. I just can't do it anymore. It feels like my attention span can't handle reading a whole series at once. I need to have different worlds to kind of like separate it. So I usually wait months to read the next book in a series. So this is actually a really good prompt for me to do. It holds me accountable, which I think is a great thing. Problem is, I didn't read any books in a series last month. Not really. I do have a book for this, but it's not a novel. So what happened was I read Iron Widow, which I loved, but I don't have Heavily Tyrant. I don't own it. My library doesn't have it yet. And so I just don't have a copy of it, so I cannot read it. That would be the only one that would be applicable. But like I said, I don't have a copy. So unfortunately, I can't read Heavenly Tyrant. That's the only one that would have been possible in regards to novels. I read City of Heavenly Fire, and then I read Tress of the Emerald Sea. Heavenly Fire is the last book in a series, and Tress is a standalone. Because of that, I decided to go a little bit easier on myself. And because I read a manga series last month, I decided to just continue my manga. And that is, of course, Black Butler by Yana Taboso. And this is how much volumes is this? This is the 18th volume. I've been reading this series pretty quickly, and I should be able to finish it this year if I'm on track. So I've been enjoying it. This arc is kind of boring. It's like the school arc, I think. It's almost over, which is good because I'm not having a great time with the school arc. But I think the next season of the anime is coming out, and it's a different arc than what I'm reading. So I'm kind of excited now to continue this so I can watch the anime, because I'm trying to watch the anime now, and it's kind of fun to see, you know, the animated version of the manga. I think the school arc just came out in the manga this year. Or sorry, last year now. Oh my gosh. So in 2024, the last season came out. I think this year is coming another season. So anyway, I'm going to be continuing Black Butler. It's the only series technically that I actually continued in December, and I'll be continuing in January. So not as exciting for most people that don't read manga, but it's just a manga series I'm gonna read. It's such a weird genre. It's like historical, paranormal. I guess that's all I could really say. Historical, paranormal. We're following a young character. He's like what, 13, 14 years old, and he has a butler who's actually a demon. So yeah, I'm slacking on my manga lately, so I really need to continue this, and other manga and anime. I have to watch anime too. Oh my god, I'm slacking at everything. All right, so let's move on to my third roll. Okay, third roll. Okay, well, do I just take that? Probably. That was a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, BIPOC author. So my third roll landed me on a BIPOC author. This one was pretty easy again. I'm trying to hold myself accountable. It might not be as exciting for most people to watch this, but I'm going to be continuing a series again because I really need to get to it. And I mentioned this in my goals video that I want to continue Nalini Singh's work in the Guild Hunter series. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be reading the next book in the Guild Hunter series. I think I'm on book 5. I don't know why I'm so bad at remembering what book I'm on. I think it's 4 or 5. But this is Archangel Storm. I don't know who this follows. It might be the main characters again, but I'm not entirely sure. You're gonna be seeing this series countless times this year because I need to continue it. I wanted to at least read 4 copies or 4 books in the series of the Guild Hunter series, so you will see this quite often. I'm just gonna mention really briefly, it's a urban paranormal romance series following vampires, archangels, angels, and humans, of course. The romance has been really good. It's been really fun. If you like kind of like the OG paranormal romance kind of thing, this is perfect. And there's more diversity, and there's also going to eventually be, you know, LGBTQIA plus characters. I'm so excited to see those two together. I'm just dying to see it. So I'm excited to continue the series. I've been, like I said, again, slacking on this one especially, but I really want to get to it. I need to definitely break these books apart because I can't read a lot of this type of paranormal romance. It kind of gets too monotonous if I read it too back to back. I haven't read this in a while, so I have hope that it won't be an issue for me for January. 2 rolls left. Let's get into my 4th roll and see what it is. A 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue a series. I think we're on a theme today, series. And you know what? It's January. I think it's a really good thing to do, to continue series. So I'm not upset about this. And this one is perfect because this is going to be finishing a trilogy. This is going to be a series that I despised. Okay, I didn't despise it. Let me backtrack on that. I didn't love the first book, and this is a very beloved trilogy. I didn't like the first book, but people in my comment section gave me hope. They said that the second book was going to be really good. It's a lot better. Some people said that it's just, like I said, better all the way around. So I was hopeful that I would like the second book, and I love. That's my upstairs neighbor's dog. People said that I would like the second book, and I was a little bit nervous if I didn't like the second one. I wouldn't have continued it, but I loved the second book, and that is the Belladonna trilogy by Adeline Grace. I loved Foxglove. I didn't like Belladonna, but I loved Foxglove, and I think the reason for that is because I actually liked the secondary couple more than the primary couple, which is weird. There's like kind of like 2 couples in this. I'm so sorry for the dog upstairs. I didn't love the first book, but I think it's because it primarily focused on the main couple. The second book has more of a mix between 2 kind of, not really couples. It's more like the primary couple and then like a secondary thing that's happening. And this is following the secondary couple or relationship that's happening. And it's mostly focusing on them, I believe, because I can tell by the front cover. I'm pretty sure I know who this character is. And so I'm really looking forward to reading it. I think I'm going to love this book. It might even be like my favorite book of January. There's some big contenders on this list. So I don't know. There's a few that this is battling with. So I'm curious which one's going to be like the top of the month. But this one I am excited to be getting to and seeing if I enjoy. I definitely think I will because I'm just having a great time with it. This is like a historical fantasy with romance dabbled into it. I would say that the romance is actually pretty prevalent. It's not a romantasy, but it has fantasy-esque aspects. It has historical aspects and it has romance. So it's a fun time. I am enjoying it. I do plan on doing wrap-ups again. They're going to be really hopefully short and not too long. People don't usually care for wrap-ups, but I think it's actually pretty important to talk about books I read because what's the point of reading them if I'm not going to discuss how I felt about them? So I will be talking about if I enjoy this book or not in a wrap-up video, probably in February. So yes, you will hear what I feel about all these books on this list, including this one. I am very hopeful. I am trying not to get my hopes up too much because I don't want to disappoint myself, but I am pretty hopeful about this one. I have 2 more books on this list, but we only have 1 more roll, so I'm going to do 1 more roll for my TBR board game, and then I'm going to have an extra added book to this list. So let me get into my last and final roll for this game, and then we will see what book I get. So let's get into the 5th and final roll. A 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sci-fi or random color? I'm gonna go with a random color. I might regret this, but random color. So as you saw from my roll, I got a random color generator. I have to plan my books way in advance because I usually use libraries and stuff. So I already know what the color's going to be. Now, when I first opened the app, it was green, but I restarted it, just kind of reset it, and it was more like a salmon pink kind of color. It's really pretty, like a coral pink, salmon pink kind of thing. I'm not really good with the colors, okay? I actually have a perfect book for this. I had a publisher, or not even the publisher, I had someone come up to me and on my email, not in real life. Of course, not in real life, that would be weird. Last year, I read an arc in January and I gave it 5 stars. And the same people that wrote that book, or the same author who wrote that book, someone within their department gave it to me in an email saying, hey, are you interested in reading this? And I said, yes. I'm so excited about reading this. I'm hopeful I will like this one as much as I liked the first one. That book was Ready or Not by Kara Boston. I loved that book so much. It was my first 5-star of 2024. And so I'm going to hopefully continue that with the next book that I got from my NetGalley. And that is Promise Me Sunshine by Kara Boston. This is, like I said, a NetGalley arc. This is an electronic advanced reader copy. So this is not out yet. This is going to be out March 4th. So if you want to try this, it's going to be out in March. I'm going to be doing a wrap up. So you will see in February how I feel about it. And so you can have an idea of how I felt about it overall. But considering the fact that I gave Ready or Not a 5 stars last year, it was my first 5-star of the year, I'm fingers crossed I will enjoy this. It was a very emotional read when I read Ready or Not. I cried at the end of it, and I feel like this book is going to be emotional too, considering the subject matter. This book has a lot of heavy topics, so just be careful going into it if you are interested in getting into it. We are following the main character who loses a friend to cancer, and she is going through the grief and the mourning of this. People are trying to be there for her and kind of be there to surround her and try to comfort her, but she's having a hard time doing it. It seems like through the synopsis she might be going through depression because of this, which is completely valid and understandable. I don't really know how it feels to lose someone close to me yet. I hope I never do, knock on wood. But I know that it's something that a lot of people, if not everyone, experiences at some point in their lives. So this is a very heavy topic. She ends up getting a job, I believe, as a babysitter. And the uncle of this child that she's babysitting is actually the one I think that there's a romance between. He is there for her. He is very comforting for her. I think there's like a bucket list or something, and he helps achieve all these goals for her to kind of like help her get better. I'm so bad at recapping what a book is about, so I apologize so deeply, but I read about the synopsis and it sounded so sweet and endearing. It's a slow burn. It's like a grumpy kind of guy. He's there for her, and he's going to be helping her grieve, and he's going to be helping her get through these goals and achieve these things, and it sounds really sweet and promising. I'm really hoping I will like it. I kind of hope I'll cry, because it seems like a book I can cry about, and sometimes I just want to have a book make me cry. I don't know why I'm weird like that, but so far there has been a lot of good reception for this book. I already had like a 4.5 rating on Goodreads, and so far with the last book I read last year, I have a lot of hope with this one, so I really want to like this. I used to not really like contemporary romance, but I think 2024 really changed my mind about that. So I think this is going to be matching. The background has the pink color kind of, right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at the picture of the book right now. Yeah, the sunset or the sunrise has definitely that pink color to it. I think it's close enough. So this is like the perfect book for that. Okay, so those are the 7 books, but I have one more left, and this is the one I'm the most afraid of. So my 8th book is going to be one I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reading in January and February. I don't think I'm going to be able to read this all of January because it's a big one. So I've been reading the Cosmere in order, and I'm finally on the one that I am so excited to get to, but also so intimidated to get to as well. I'm loosely buddy reading this with not only my boyfriend, who is reading the books as well. He read the Mistborn trilogy, the second era, even though we read it in out of order, but don't worry about it. We accidentally read it out of order, okay? We shouldn't have, but we did. So we read Mistborn Era 1, Mistborn Era 2, Warbreaker. I'm currently reading Trust the Emerald Sea. I should be done it before the end of December, and then we're going to be moving on to the next one. Now, we are reading it in Brandon Sanderson's order, so we are reading in the order that he recommended on his own channel, and that means we're going to be starting the chunky series that is the Stormlight Archive. I am so excited, but I'm so nervous at the same time. Regardless, I'm going to be starting The Way of Kings, which is an epic, huge fantasy series with magic system in it. It's Brandon Sanderson. You kind of really know what you're getting into when you know about this. I know nothing going into this. I try my best not to just hear anything. I just try my best not to be spoiled on any of his Cosmere books, because obviously it's the Cosmere. You don't want to know much about it. Now, if you have no idea what the Cosmere is, it's pretty much a world or a universe where there's different planets, and there's usually different books are set on different planets. So Tress of the Emerald Sea is its own planet. There is Mistborn, which is its own planet. There's Warbreaker, it's its own planet. They all have their different magic systems, and this is also a separate planet as well. There's also such intricate things in between that they all kind of link together in some way or shape or form. It's amazingly done, and I'm so excited to be continuing it. Like I said, this is the first time I'm reading The Way of Kings, the first time I'm getting into the Stormlight Archive. It's the perfect time because the 5th book just came out, and the first arc, I guess you can say, is over, so I am looking forward to trying it. I also got someone in my D&D group to start reading Mistborn. They read the trilogy and absolutely loved it, and it's like such an honor to have someone that doesn't read get so heavily invested into a series, and now he's starting this with us because he's like, loving Brandon Sanderson, and it makes me so happy that I actually got someone to read again. Like, that's so cool. So we're 3 of us are reading this right now. I'm not reading it yet, but he has started it, my friend, and I need to get to this soon so that I can like kind of catch up. Yeah, this is over 1,000 pages, so this probably will take me a month, if not a month and a half, to finish, but I am so excited about it. I've been writing down notes for the Cosmere, characters, different things like words and concepts and things like that. So I have my own document to write down everything that's happening, characters' names, what book it's from. It's been a lot of work, but I've been having a great time doing it. I'm going to be reading Stormlight Archive in 2025, hoping I'll get to all 5 books in this year. I won't, hold my breath for that, but I hope I can get through, if not all of them, then almost get to all of them in 2025. So yeah, every 2 months I should be reading the next book, if I can. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. So yeah, this is my 8th and final book for January. Okay, with that, I'm going to finish the video off here. I actually did pretty good talking and not coughing my lungs out the entire video, so thank you for being here and spending time with me. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. If you're someone that's been here for a while, thank you so much for being here as long as you have. I appreciate you so much. I should be doing like a series video next, and I should eventually have my Unwrapped video next. Best books of 2024, worst books of 2024. I think I'm going to link those 2 together in the same video. I haven't really been filming much because I've been sick, and then my boyfriend was off for a week, so it's hard to film. but I'm happy to be doing it again. Hopefully I can kind of increase that in the next year. We'll see, or this year. I keep forgetting it's already 2025. It's crazy. Let me just quickly show you the TBR that I plan on getting to in January. This is all of it total. I might read other manga, but for now, this is just the ones I'm gonna have here. All right, so I'm gonna end the video off here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great reading month in January, and I hope to see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.